contrary to what we have been led to believe, that we are looking forever and a day at global warming in view of the man-made emissions of CO2 and greenhouse gas emissions. You stated that we're going to be going into a long period of cooling, and that has to be a very major concern to Canada if that's the case, and we have to plan according. Maybe could you please expand on that and perhaps maybe give us some indication of what we should be doing as a country, planning for that, if we accept that premise?
Okay. Certainly. Yeah, this is basically my research in the Northwest Territories. It's funded by INSERC and basically in partnership with the Tippecanoe-Winter Road, the North Slave Métis Alliance, and various other groups with an interest in the long-term viability. So we don't really have a particular axe to grind. We're doing there from a very applied perspective, trying to understand what the nature of climate is, particularly with the diamond mines that need to transport their materials out and equipment north, and now there's talk of more mines trying to bring massive sulfides down the ice road and so on. So they really need to know, and building a fixed link across that region is very expensive to do this. So this is why we're doing our research that we've been able to do. We're able to collect cores and analyze the record. It's at the highest resolution that's ever been done. We use a new technology we developed that we can actually look at annual resolution changes in climate change in the Northwest Territories, which has not been done before. And there's been very little research done. So we basically have been breaking new ground. And so we can recognize that there has been enormous climate variability in this region over the last few thousand years. There's a big reason why our project only looks at the last 3,500 years. If we went further back in time, it was considerably warmer than it is today. So it's not very useful if you're trying to figure out the current climate situation to go deeper in time. So basically our projections then are based on trying to understand these cycles, and what we now know from some of the groundbreaking research has been done by people like Jan Weiser and so on in the last few years that basically have really changed our understanding of the dynamics between solar forcing, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and so on, and trying to understand what's going to go on. But from the perspective of where we might be going in here, this is something of great concern to Canada. Particularly, everybody always is talking about warming and so on, but because we are at the north end of agriculture in Canada, and there's not a whole lot of wheat production going on in the Northwest Territories at the present time, and basically if things start to cool off, you start to threaten your production in Western Canada and so on, and and if it's happening to us, it's happening to places in Eastern Europe, would be worse, and so on if the world is starting to cool down. So we have to really think about various sorts of adaptation strategies, not only just warming, but you have to think about what might be happening if things start to cool down from the social unrest perspective and everything else that goes along with it. We're a big country. We could probably adapt to lots of changes. Our farmers are very efficient, and they can adapt to changes on a dime. If things warmed up, they can adapt their agriculture probably very, very quickly. But if things cool down, you just can't make things grow if the seasons are too short. And so all we ask is that people start to look at what the possibility might be. And my reports are going forward now about for the ice road is that we project that through the next few decades it probably be pretty good conditions for the continued use of this road.